Hello, hello. Hi, guys. I'm like adjusting with this new phone I got. It's the screen. I don't want it to fall like exactly forward. I don't know. Whatever. I might have to get some sort of phone stand or something more official. Hi. Yeah, I don't like how much space is like going on up here. It's a big space. This would be better. Don't really have any way to do that. So, hello, I've got this moon deck that I just love, this little moon deck. I don't really pull out my oracle decks very often anymore, I have to admit. There's a few that I use just for me and like pulling a card every few days or whenever I really feel called to come in and pull cards. I actually do this fun thing with some of my oracle decks that I only use for me, where I'll shuffle them all up like kid style, like on the floor, just messy shuffling, and then I'll put them back in the stack, and every day for however long it takes to get through them, I'll just come and I'll just take the first one that's on top in whatever order they fell in, like by divine order. That's the order that I would receive that divination. I don't have to go and reshuffle every time or pull a card or whatever. I just like take the top one off the deck. So that's a little trick that I like. Oh, my baby's been crawling on this and I can like feel his not always clean hands. Oh, like we really want to be talking about not having clean hands around the coronavirus. Scary talk. But yeah, no, sometimes he has mac and cheese on his hands apparently. And he just comes in here, and I have a bouncy ball chair. That's why I bounce sometimes. So I'm sure that's super fun for him to get on, and I'm not sure how he hasn't fallen off and, knock on wood, hurt himself. So let me know if you want a card. I actually have the moon deck out. How fun. And I just felt like pulling this past life deck out by Doreen Virtue and Brian Weiss, one of these old Doreen Virtue decks that I don't even know if you can get them anymore. Some of Doreen Virtue stuff is not, it's like out of print. And so that's kind of interesting and cool. I have some decks that are hard to get, that are like worth money. I don't know. I'm keeping them. I've kind of cycled through decks through the years. So I have a past life deck to pull. If I feel called, I'm just going to kind of like, I don't know why that one wanted to come out. Like, well, of course, I like doing past life stuff. That's why. It's so silly. I call myself the Akashic Queen on my Facebook page, which if you haven't liked my Facebook page, I'm sure if you're watching this, you have. Because this week I'm going to actually do a DNA activation from my Facebook page. And it's all about releasing some of the damn fear that we've got around this coronavirus and this, like, it's just ridiculous. It's ridiculous. I don't really want to make this live stream about that. So we're going to let that go. So yeah, I'll get it together and I'll pull some cards for somebody. Let's do this. Let's get Kelly. Kelly, I want to get some cards for you. What did you say? Going through some stuff. This is for Kelly. So let's get a moon card for you. Like, how can this moon support you? So you have a couple of cards here. And so, all right. And then there's also going to be a past life one, like just this one, this actually one right here. Okay. I'm like, it's this one right here. It's this forgiveness card. Okay. So ultimately, there's two cards that came out here. Ultimately it's always about forgiveness, right? I was just going to say that. I didn't actually finish that sentence. Ultimately, it's always about forgiveness. All life is just another forgiveness opportunity. Like everything that is presented to you. It's challenging sometimes, though, to go through that whole process with everything. So there's two cards that came out. The one that was upright is I trust the change that's unfolding in my life. The one that was upside down. I know there's no reverse cards, but this one was upside down. I trust the change that's happening in my life. So I feel like there's some resistance to actually being able to say that with like an affirmation. I trust the change that's happening in my life. And then this one came up. So you're not quite ready to say that, interestingly enough. But what we need to say is, I'm ready and thank you. I am ready and thank you. So I'm ready and thank you. And then as you move forward, you're going to move closer and closer into feeling like, okay, I'm trusting this. So a lot of times, you might be ready before you really trust what's going to happen. I know, for example, like I'm ready to go on that super scary roller coaster, but I don't, I don't know if I trust that I'm not going to like pee my pants or whatever, like that I'm not going to like freak out or something. So you have to look at things in that aspect. Yep. Okay. I'm ready. Let's go let's do it. And the trust will come a little bit later. You'll actually start to see more ultimately as you go through whatever you've got going on. You'll start to see its reason for being beneficial in your life. It's very challenging to see that sometimes. Very challenging to see that. So how is everybody doing with this moon? Let me know how you're doing. It's really an intense moon because it's a super moon. I can tell this. The super moon means it's closer to the earth. The earth's orbit and the moon, they're just like closer. Everything's not a circle. It's sort of an oblong apparently. And that's what's going on. I just have like a lower back thing where I want to stretch out here for a second. Hi, Margaret. I'm glad you caught me live too. Yeah, you can't settle down. That's what the moon is doing for you. Yeah. I want to get, let's see, I'm having a hard time getting ready to leave my house and neighborhood. Yeah, so it's all about that. It's all about that being grounded and saying, okay, I was really grounded and I was in a place that I really loved and I trusted that place and I'm ready to go. Like, I'm ready. I've got the house, the new house, the shift is happening, but I just have to, the trust that you've made the good decision to go into another fantastic neighborhood because you really make the neighborhood. Don't you? And so you have that trust and it's going to come through. It's going to come through a little bit at a later time. Whoa, Peggy, you had a couple earthquakes, earth shaking stuff. Okay, Peggy, I saw your name pop up earlier. I want to get you a card. You've got Mother Earth, like, oh my gosh, I'm coughing. I don't have coronavirus. My kids do have a cough and runny noses though. So I think what they have is this, it's a really old fashioned thing. It's called a cold. They have a cold. Let's see what's going on in Peggy's world though. 2 earthquakes. What's this moon trying to tell you? Here's a card flying out. Conscious eating nourishes you. Well, of course, yes. Let's go a little deeper with the conscious eating. So the reason why conscious eating nourishes us in this sort of aspect that I really like about this card is because when you actually actively think about the process of what it took the food to get to you, you go through like, do I really want to eat this? And so it's about being really present with the process that the food gets to you. And so, Peggy, you'd have to tell me if you have a tendency to like eat junk food or, I mean, good Lord, like we're talking, this is also the one that came up for me here on this one. I'll show you what this is. I'm a super snacker at night. Like, don't get me wrong. Like, there's a reason I run in the daytime, like jog places. It's so I can be a super snacker at night and have it just balance out, hopefully. So that's not being a real conscious eater because I'm probably not really thinking very deeply about the things I'm eating or why I'm eating and what it's doing for my body. So that's going to help you. That's going to nourish your strength. So the arts is also going to be something that nourishes you. So there's like a lot of pleasure, nourishment for your senses that needs to happen. And one of that is your body. And then the other is the arts and being able to inspire you. Processed food, yes. So Peggy, it's just time. Like we can all go through that process of detoxification and go through your sugar cleanse. I used to be like the sugar cleanse queen, and then I turned into a different kind of like the Akashic queen. How funny. I ran a fitness group, and so it was all about getting the body in a way that you could trust the messages it was sending to you, that you weren't like feeling weighed down by the processed food. So she says, I got cross stitch. Yeah. Anything that you can go into the zone while you're doing it. And this is like the arts. This is be able to create and just drop into that different sort of brainwave place. You'll start to meditate without even really realizing you're meditating. And that's going to also be really supportive for anybody at any point is a meditative practice. And you can do that through different means, whether it's creating art or exercise or whatever it might be, just sitting there on a mat, yoga, whatever. Hello everybody. So keep telling me. Oh, Claire, hi, you're here. Let's get you a card. I know you want a card, dear. Let's get you a card. Let me know if you want a card. You can always you can always ask a question as well. Sometimes I don't feel called. I feel really called to the questions. Like, look, we need to get to business. We have a question here. Can I get a card? I guess I see a lot of those. So feel free to ask a question. Like, let's get into it. I don't want to just go, like, the surface shit is for somebody else. Like, that's where I'm at. Okay, so this leads me, Claire, I'm going to get your card. Leads me a little bit to talk about, that's where I'm kind of going with my practice, is I'm done doing like the surfacey kind of work, and there's nothing wrong with that kind of work. And I'm done even, yeah, I just really want to dive deeper with people. I want to get into the shadow work. I want to get into really working through trauma and impressions that disease and things of that nature have left upon a person. So yeah, anyway, let's get deeper. Let's go for Claire's card though before we go, before I forget. Let's see what guidance Claire needs to receive. There's two popping out, but there's going to be one that flies out. It's this one. It's that one. Okay. My emotions move through cycles and connect me to my truth. My emotions move through cycles and connect me to my truth. So this comes to me that you're sort of not responding or listening to the emotions that are coming up. And I think a lot of times we just get busy. We get busy in our lives, and we feel like we're like doing pretty good. We're making some progress. And then we go through a cycle. We don't even realize we're in sort of a cycle. Sometimes these cycles are seasonal. Sometimes they're monthly. Sometimes they're bigger than that. Sometimes they're daily cycles. Like, we have every sort of cycle that you could possibly think of going on within us. And so there's a cycle that's coming around, and let's see, there's a past life attachment. Oh, well, we have a monk or a nun. So there's a cycle coming around. And I want to stay for a second and see what I can hear. So this next cycle that's coming around is going to ask you to get really dedicated about something. To really get dedicated. That's what I'm getting. This is for Claire. This is the cycle card here. And then I got the past life card. Is this monk or nun? And so it's what attributes are you pulling from that lifetime where you were a nun or where you were a monk or you had this energy. Hi, Courtney. What is happening? Cards are happening. Yes. So, so you can pull from that deep level of dedication to get you into the next cycle, into that next phase. So what is it that you need to get really dedicated about? I know when I was actually getting sick of not healing, I was like, these Band-Aids suck. It's shitty to just say you're doing okay and not really be doing okay, and to like be leading people through their shit and into being okay. Like, you're all, whoa, I need to be listening to myself. That's really what it came down to. And so I learned that I needed to take that dedication that I see in putting towards your entire life for a purpose, like a monk or a nun would do. It's a beautiful card. I really love this. I love this deck, actually. That's why I pulled it out. So yeah, I was almost going to be a nun. Margaret, were you going? This is an interesting story. It takes a lot of dedication, I think, to exclude, like, I mean, I became a parent. That's a lot of dedication too, but to make that decision to exclusively give yourself to a certain practice, it's a lot. That's intense. Let's see who else wants a card. I want to see if, there was a gal up here. Make some more comments. Oh, Courtney, let's get you a card. And then I think we're going to go to Lisa too. I see you, Lisa, right there. So Courtney, I haven't seen you on one of my lives in so long. So let's go ahead and get you a card. I feel much better after coming to do cards. It was tense. My kids must be on their cycle. I don't know. It was intense getting them to bed tonight. I'm like, listen, we've done stories. It's bedtime. These cards are not coming through right now. So let's just go ahead and ask. Let's do a shuffle, a regular shuffle. Let's ask what cards Courtney. How can the moon support Courtney? Or we can just pull a past life card. Well, okay. So I started dropping the deck as soon as so let's just go to the past life deck for Courtney. And there's one that flies out. So it's High Priest or Priestess. So, I mean, this is like the ultimate card in this deck. We've gotten two really amazing cards because they give me a very clear definition. It's asking for you. You've had a past lifetime. I'm actually hearing that you've had both of these past lifetimes as a high priest and a high priestess. And there were different challenges and there were different things that had gone on in each lifetime that you can actually pull from in this lifetime. That's what you're supposed to be doing right now. So it's this process that, I mean, I was going into the Akashic Records and having my guides and masters and teachers and loved ones tell me all of the amazing things that I needed to start applying in my life, even if they weren't telling it to me. They were like giving me the downloads while I was sleeping, and it didn't matter. Like, I was commanding it to be so. And your intention is like, it's like 9/10 of the whole journey. So, Courtney, what I'm getting at is you can go in and I've heard it called mining the Akash. You go in and like a miner, you're looking for these different aspects of yourself that you can pull together. And this high priest and high priestess energy, it's time for you to go in your Akashic Records or time for you to go into meditation. If you don't know how to go into your Akashic Records, just meditate and ask to have that sort of guidance become known to you, whether it's consciously known to you or at this point subconsciously to be moved into the conscious realm at some later point. That's all that matters. So this is what I want everybody to do. If you have any sort of problem in your life, you can go in and you can mine the Akash and you can get support based on a previous lifetime where you've had experience. Okay. So, yeah, she says her cycle, Crystal says her cycle switching close to the full moon. Mine loves to go back and forth. Right now I'm definitely ovulating around the full moon. And, okay, let's see. And I'm menstruating on the new moon. I love that one. I like that cycle a lot. That feels really good to me. That's actually syncing up with the moon's true cycle. If that can actually be a thing, it is a thing. This is how when you're not cycling anymore, like if you've gone through menopause or if you're a man or if you're a child, you can really sort of line up the experience that you can be having here with where the moon's at. So I want to see what Lisa's working through some trauma and PTSD stuff and finally getting to a spot of healing, but also hitting a tough spot. Okay. So I read that whole thing. It's amazing. Thank you for sharing, actually, Lisa. That's really important. It takes a bravery to share. So let's ask the cards what you need. Here's one that popped up right away right here. So movement awakens your creative spirit. So ultimately it's telling you that you really need to awaken that creative spirit. And now it's telling you also how to do this. And I really feel like, honestly, anytime that I've gone through the period where you have this dark night of the soul, have you heard this? It's like you go in a funk. People call it depression. If you decide to medicate that experience, that can sometimes last, for me, like, I don't know. I mean, sometimes 30 days, sometimes 6 weeks. Like, I guess you might get worried. And I have been worried in my little funks. I'm like, do I need to really go to a therapist? Like, this is getting kind of crappy. And really, honestly, I needed to get creative. I needed to engage in some sort of creative process. And so anytime, even with the gene keys and talking about, I have this gene key as one of my gene keys. It's the IQ, the one that has to do with your mental reactions. But it's the shadow of entropy, which is some part of a whole unit just failing to operate, which causes a disruption of of the entire thing. Like, you know, you can't really have one part of your body just fail to operate and have everything else be like, sure, we'll pick up the slack 100% with nothing ever going wrong. It doesn't work that way. And so also, as well as that, with our energy, our emotions, anything like that. So it's this process of getting moving again for you. For me, you know, the creativity takes on different places and spaces in different people's life. And for you, it's getting moving. So now you can ask, what does that movement mean? Is that going outdoors and getting moving? Are we talking like hiking? Are we talking like dance? What kind of expression is this? So that's what you need for you right now. I want to get somebody else who's left a little bit of a detail for me. I like stories. See, I just want to read about y'all. What's going on? Like, hey. But I do want to say, going back, and I hope she's on right now. I hope it's Lisa that I gave that previous card reading for. I do want to say, you know, if you need more support on your healing journey, and if you feel like you're in one of those cycles and you're not feeling supported, I'm actually here for you. I've gone ahead and I've said, what have you done for yourself for the past 4 to 6 years? Like, what have you been doing? I said this to myself. I like kind of like in a rude way. Like, what do you have to show for yourself? Well, I had 3 kids in 5 years. But no, what I've done is I've gone through this healing journey, and through the process, I've learned about the Akashic records, and I've learned about really taking a deep belief into reincarnation and past lives. And I've also learned about different modalities of healing and how to apply these things first and foremost to myself, and then how to apply these things to other people. This is healing like Reiki healing. This is healing like sacred geometry types of healing. So this is all that, all wrapped up. And now I've got a program that I'm actually closing down my session by session practice. And I have a program coming out that's called Healing the Healer Within. And, you know, I'm accepting clients into that program, and it's working with me to actually really go through and affect some healing in your life. And even if you're not a healer, even if that's not your thing, like, as long as you're healing yourself, the grid around you is healing. So you become a healer by healing yourself. It's us walking around all wounded and in our shadow places and like with all this bullshit that's keeping us down. That's what is creating more of the paranoia and the fear and the low frequency vibrations everywhere. So anyway, Robin, let's get a card for you. I don't really know what time it is. Somebody needs to tell me when I've been here too long, because my husband, I haven't been a total beast on this full moon, so I think he actually wants some attention from me tonight. So let's get Robin a card. I just want to switch over to Robin now. Everybody say ah, the codes of ah. So, approaching retirement, Robin. Not sure what you're going to do afterwards. Into creative passions, possibly. That's kind of a topic right now, is our creativity, isn't it? I think overall in this live stream, it's about making sure that we're in touch with our creativity, because that can really get things flowing for us. So, something to do with healing. This popped out here. I am on the right path and I'm divinely guided. So, this tells us everything. I am on the right path and I am divinely guided. What a good affirmation, because it's an I am. I am affirmations are very powerful. Whenever you can start an affirmation with I am on the right path. I would even put in there another I am, and I am divinely guided. That's what I would say. So you don't even need to know the answer, although let's see the past life, this one wants to come up. So, we have the Celtic, we have this kind of, I keep wanting to dive for a card, so we're going to dive for another card. This is the kind of thing where, do you have connections with this sort of life, with these, the Celtic, I probably am saying it wrong. And it's just saying to dive for one more card that falls down. So the one that fell down, that flew right out, is medicine man or woman. Medicine man or woman. So you're looking for an answer, kind of an inkling. I say this speaks healer. This lifetime, you would go into the Akashic records and you would say, hey, I would like to specifically look for lifetimes, and you could do both. I want to pull forth any creative aspects from previous lifetimes, but I also want to pull forth any healing aspects, so I might know where I want to head in the future. But ultimately, you're on the right path and you are divinely guided. I'm on 22 minutes. Good. I love when you tell me things like this. Lisa says, thank you. I'm so glad you got some resonation from that. So, Ashley, I'm going to go ahead. Okay, so another way you get a card reading, because I just love my people, is you're in my private group and I'm getting to know you. And so that's Ashley. She's in my private group. And I do go live in there to read cards sometimes, but not always. So let's see. I'm reading this note from Ashley. Okay, I love your question. Ashley's gone through a big cycle of processing, in that she's discovered as an adult that she's autistic, and it's not like you get autism as an adult. It's something that you generally are working with as an energy throughout your whole life. And autistic individuals are on another level, dude. There I am with the California dude talking to a girl. They're on another level. I really feel like you have an amazing connection that you can foster to your higher self and to these other realms by allowing yourself to be in that energy. So let's look at the cards and see what Ashley can have as something to support her. And it's a past life card that needs to come out also. So one thing is I love myself completely and unconditionally. So a big deal for you is having this sort of news and this sort of experience. If it is something where you've started to feel like a little unappreciative for yourself or your experience, that's a shift that needs to happen. And you can use the moon to release any sort of feelings of self-condemnation or not being able to accept oneself. So this is, I love myself completely and unconditionally. And I actually remember at one of my first Reiki sessions, there was the Reiki practitioner. She says, this is your mantra, is I love and accept myself exactly as I am right now. I love and accept myself exactly as I am right now. And that's something tapping can really help, because that's something that you say as you're getting ready to start tapping. But let's look at let's see what's going on as far as past life stuff. I have medicine man or medicine woman that kind of fell out of my hand again there. So that's not to say it wasn't just out there, but I'm moving cards around. So that's a big one for you, and it's asking for one more to come out. Maybe that was that's how it's go. Oh my God. That's so weird. So it's like, was it just like the last two only reverse? I'm tripping myself out now, yo. Whew. So when things like that happen, I'm all like, I need to stop doing cards because I need to like maybe go to Vegas or something. So I don't know. This one's very, very loud for me right now. So you need to actually go into your Akashic Records, Ashley, go into meditation and say, okay, this is coming up for me, not only to work through healing myself, but also, and that's what you do. Next step. Okay, so how do I heal myself? How do I nurture? How do I self-parent myself? Because likely when you were a child, your parents didn't have the knowledge and the understanding that we have right now, and so they were only doing the best job that they could do with whatever circumstance was put in front of them. And so for you, it's really, really important that you go into that process of saying, okay, I'm going to go through this and I'm going to accept myself, I'm going to love myself unconditionally, and I am going to self-parent myself through this process. I want to scroll here. And so, let's see. I got distracted with other comments because I'm like, oh, we got to do a card for that. So Ashley, it's taking it nice and slow, and you're saying, okay, I know that this process it's going to unravel, and I'm going to feel like I make some headway, and then I'm going to come back around to something, because it's all about the cycles, and the seasons of the year affect it. Everything affects it. So just get really in tune, as a medicine man or as a medicine woman would. And I don't know, I see this one, I have images of you like doing, creating like those head, like flower, like floral head things, and just sitting out in nature and really getting grounded and saying, taking time with this and saying, I don't need to rush or do anything necessarily, except for I do think you need to go in your Akashic records and find out if it can bring forth lifetimes where your specific guidance as a medicine person, a medicine man, or a medicine woman helps support what would now be known as autism, or the equivalent of that back in the day. Who knows? Peggy, you have a good night too. It was really good to read a card for you. All right, I'm going to get one more card, and this is for Crystal. And I'm sorry if I missed you tonight, and I didn't get you a card. I'm going to get Crystal. She's going to be our final card. I do appreciate and love doing these card readings, and for sure, like if you enroll in my Healing the Healer Within, part of that is working your Akashic records. Part of that is doing card readings if that vibe comes up. Part of it is teaching you a bunch of different resources that you can use, tools for your energetic toolbox. That's all part of it. So, okay. All of these cards are resonating. Crystal, I go into every single live stream reading with the specific intention that it be carrying a message for everybody, for us all. I can't come up with the best cards just by myself to present a message for the collective, but with the support of everybody and all the different varieties. So that's why I say, if you type a question in there, it's like Spirit tells me, there's like 10 people that can benefit from this one coming out. So you should read for this person. So I think that I feel that call here with Crystal. So Crystal's saying she's been contemplating, thinking about getting a job, because the finances are like this. I know, I understand that. But there's part of you that wants to stay in your entrepreneur track. Okay. So we're just going to go straight to the cards, because this is totally, I can see its relevance. My husband's battled with that. Like, my job is momming, but I battle with like wanting to work harder and take on more clients and get a babysitter, or make my husband do more than he should do when he's doing all the other work for the household. So I see it. I feel it. I feel that energy. We're going to get into past life stuff as well here for a moment. Actually, that card's going to be the one here. Oh, okay. Okay, we'll pull that up in a second. Let's get our moon card. Let's get this card for Crystal. Here's one here. So, okay, so I allow stillness to heal and reveal. I allow stillness to heal and reveal. And it's going to be a 2 moon card. Okay, so right away, I felt like not doing anything. Not like laying low, being still, really listening to the vibration of the request that you want. And then the second card is, I unleash my wildness and choose to be free. I unleash my wildness and choose to be free. So you could go through into your stillness and really dive deep and work on, say, healing some of that fear around the poverty fear. Like, these are ancestral fears that we all have, that we're all controlled by. If you know, I posted a book like that's called Outwitting the Devil. The fear of poverty is a huge one, I mean, we don't have to be saying that we're like on that poverty level, but that's the back of the head that's there. You have this fear. And so you have to start healing some of those deep fears. Fear of not being able to provide for yourself, your stability being out from under you, fear of the unknown, of like saying, I don't know if I can go on another month, of just like having this up and down. So it's getting really still, using the big full moon, like behind this girl, using the big full moon to release some of those fears and working on that. I'm going to do a fear busting live stream on Friday the 13th. I did this last, it was like a September's Friday the 13th. I also did codes on that one. I'm going to do more codes, all sorts of codes. So please tune in for that. It's at 5 p.m. this Friday, Pacific time. But then let's focus on this one as I unleash my wildness and choose to be free. And so whatever it is that you decide to do, it has to be like without allowing you to be free, allowing you to have this ability to move when you so feel desired to move, or when you feel called to move. And by move, I mean just like getting out there and going and doing things. I'm not actually, you don't have to pack up all your shit and move every single time you feel that urge. But I mean, if you want to do that, that could work out too. This doesn't, I mean, we have both of it. It's like these cards, they're so beautiful. And this also has this huge, big, old full moon going on. So there's a lot of power in that. It's asking the full moon to reveal to you. And then we have the Greco. What came up in the past life, it was this Greco-Roman one. Sometimes I'm always like, oh, yeah, I know. Thanks for the place. I don't like to, I guess the reason why is I don't like to narrow it down. I wouldn't want to say, I mean, maybe you could specifically for you say, okay, you can go into the Akashic Records and say, is there a past life where you lived in this time, in this Roman time, that you can pull upon the knowledge or the understanding to remove this sort of fear, this sort of, get you through this period. You could do that, but I sometimes don't even like to limit it. I just say, is there any lifetime where I can pull this information? Like the sky is the limit with that regards. So, all right, I'm done. I need to go be with my husband. Those were some really good cards. I really appreciated your energy. All of the ones who showed up, who opened up and wrote a little comment. Crystal says, when I've been in my house for 10 years, when I think of being wild, it's asking me to get creative. Creative has been the theme of this live stream. So what is it telling you when it says to get creative? What is that saying for you? What does that mean for you? Tell me what that means. Don't be afraid of the collapse. Well, yeah. I mean, that's a huge fear. Apparently, it's a huge economic downturn all of a sudden. Go figure. Whatever's going on, if it's in some sort of planning motion, I don't know if they can really understand just how extensive the great fear of everybody can be in shutting things down. Like I think they bit off more than they could chew with whatever's going on. So, we'll talk a lot about that. I want to get into that a lot on Friday. It's Friday the 13th, you guys. Anybody who's watching this replay, share the information. Go to my personal page and find where I'm advertising about this. It's absolutely free. I'm just doing it from my Facebook page. But share it in your groups, share it everywhere. So that I can get more people to tune in if they want to be supported in removing some of this fear. So, like I was telling you, is when you heal yourself, the grid around you changes. And just like when you start to get really paranoid yourself, we fight it for a long time, guys. And I'm not even there. I don't feel paranoid. Like, I'm okay. I'm okay. I have toilet paper. Maybe I'm delusional. My kids have coughs and colds and they had slight fevers today. I'm okay. I'm like, oh shit. I'm more afraid of the lack of sleep that's going to happen. Yeah, that's really me. So tune into what you're experiencing. Share this information. I really want to support those. Oh, that's what I was saying, is because when you really get into that place where you're finally feeling paranoid, it radiates outward. You're like a beam of paranoia. And that's what we're just catching each other's paranoid feelings, and we need to get rid of it. We need to start shining the light. So that's what we're going to do Friday. Have a good night, guys. Take care.